guys, this is Substitute Topher. Today I'm out in sunny Boulder, Colorado, driving the 2023 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4X. Think of this as kind of the Silverado ZR2, but in GMC form. This is powered by a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power is sent to either two wheels or all four wheels. And well, today we're going to take you for a walk around this GMC AT4X. Then we'll take it out on Boulder Canyon Road, see what it's like to drive, and I'll tell you guys what it's been like to live with this thing for a week out here in Colorado. But before we go for a drive, let's hop out, take a look around it, and talk about what makes this the AT4X. So GM's kind of been going crazy lately with all these different trim levels of their trucks, because of course on the GMC side we have the regular AT4, and then above it we've got the Denali and whatever is below all of that. But then they've now just slotted in this AT4X trim, which is basically, like I said earlier, the Silverado ZR2. So what you get on the AT4X over just the regular AT4 or the Chevy Trail Boss are the Multimatic DSSV dampers, also a 2-inch lift. You get front and rear locking differentials, and you also get some very hefty skid plates. What's interesting to me is that if you go on GMC's website and look at the AT4X, it shows it in a bit more of an aggressive form. You've got different wheels, you've got different bumpers that allow for better approach and departure angles, but for some reason our presser this week, our loaner, doesn't really look too much different than just a regular AT4 truck. The only thing I will say is you can certainly tell that it sits up quite a bit higher. And we can take a look here into the wheel arches to see that different suspension, if you will. This truck is finished in desert sand metallic, an optional extra that I think is absolutely awesome on this truck. It makes it kind of stand apart, look a little bit different. Toyota's been kind of playing around with these sand kind of beige colors for a while with their trucks, so it's cool to see some other companies taking part in that as well. And since this is a GM truck, we have this multi-fold style tailgate, which does actually make quite a lot of sense. I remember when these came out, I was kind of making fun of them, but now that I've lived with some of these GM trucks, they're actually really cool. You can see this is a split tailgate design. If you want, you can have this top section come down separately. You can use it as a work area, or if you want to eat a Big Mac on your lunch break or something, you can kind of stand here and do that. You can also use it as a bed extension. If you're hauling something and you want it to butt up to this, it gives you a little bit extra room, probably a foot extension to the bed. Then we'll shut this. We'll take the whole tailgate down. You can have that in just normal function there. Hit this top button again and put this down, and it actually turns into a step. So you kind of have this staircase to hop up into the bed of the truck. Take a look at the roof here. We've got a moonroof on this truck. Spray and bed liner, you can see we've got AT4X right there. And what I think is the coolest actually about this whole setup back here is that you actually have a kicker speaker here, or subwoofer, whatever you want to call it, integrated into the tailgate. And you can line in here with USB or aux, or Bluetooth actually. And this whole thing lights up at night, makes it easy to use. You've got kickers on either side. Pretty sweet integration here in this GMC Sierra. All manual. We don't have any power function here on the tailgate other than the actual buttons to release it. So we've got a couple of cameras there. We've got steps here to give you access, and also handles to pull you up. If you want to get up that way, you can do that as well. So kind of like I said, you know, it doesn't really look too much different from the outside. We've got these steps here on the side, which I don't really know if these act as sliders or not. They do kind of look like sliders. So that's kind of cool. Take a look at our skid plates under here. See back there, we've got a skid plate protecting our engine. You can see the shocks. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but you can get a little better view of the shocks. You can see somebody's scraped that. But anyways, let's take a look at this 6.2 liter V8. Got some red tow hooks on the front there. Pretty simple look here. I mean, it's been the same motor for so long. You'd think that maybe in these upgraded off-road trims like the AT4X and the ZR2 from Chevy, that maybe GM would give us something a little different in the powertrain department, but not as such. In the back seat, again, normal GM stuff. We've got our little cubbies here on the seat backs that I really appreciate because I love that GM likes to give little hidden compartments, and if you hide this strap under here, you cannot tell at all that that opens, so that is kind of neat. Seat flipped up for some extra storage. I've got my snow brush in here right now so it doesn't rattle. All right, let's hop up in here, get a first look at this interior. Now, one of our big complaints with the Silverado ZR2 is that the interior just kind of felt really cheap in the material department. And I'm happy to report actually in this GMC AT4X, it does feel a bit nicer. The ZR2 was 70 grand. This AT4X as spec is about 80 grand. So you think for 10 grand more, you would get a nicer interior, and you certainly do. My favorite part is this Alcantara headliner. Feels very nice, looks very nice as well. And I think in here just feels very well put together. I've had no real squeaks or rattles this week with this truck. And just looking at these materials, you can kind of see why. Leather on the top of the door panel, this cool baseball style stitching here on the side. We've got this material, which I think is unique to this trim. I don't know really how to describe it. It's kind of like a rubberized textured material. And then we also have wood that runs along the top as well as along the dash. We'll show you that a little bit more when we get up there. Drop down armrest and the cup holders there in the middle. No climate control panel, just a couple of heated seat controls. We are lucky that those even work because some of the GM trucks we've had recently, due to the chip shortage, those heated seats have not worked. 2 USB inputs back here as well, and vents, which is better than nothing, but it would be cool to have a climate control panel back here when you're paying $80,000 for a big premium truck like this. Take a look here up at the dashboard. You can see we've got leather wrapped on top, and a little bit overall nicer looking interior than Silverado, but we'll go ahead and hop up there. Closer look. Handles on all 4 sides, which is nice to pull yourself up into this thing because these steps slash rock sliders slash whatever, I don't really know what the purpose of these are. You can't really get your whole foot on it, and you also kind of slide off. So I've been using this handle to pull myself into the truck this week. AT4X badging there on the door panel. We also get it on the seat as an actual metal or plastic badge there. Nice white piping and detailing here on the seats. A little bit right here. Pretty big console. So you can remove this. Have a little bit of extra room storage there. Compartment. Extra compartment in the dashboard. Pretty standard with 1500 series trucks. Today's day and age. Alcantara wrapped visors that do extend and cover the whole windows. Those are nice. Got a moonroof here with just a manual shade, which is not Alcantara, which is kind of disappointing. It'd be nice to have some consistency there, but when you're in Colorado, you just roll with that thing open, and you never even see it anyway, so not too big of a deal. We've got a camera rearview mirror, which is very nice, and GM has stuck with lots of physical controls still here for the Sierra 1500, which is nice to see. The only thing that I do wish it had was a physical button for the cameras. You do actually have to go to the home screen. Luckily though, when you're on the home screen, it is on the first page of options, and you can see all of our different cameras we have here in this truck. You can see we have front and rear facing cameras. We've also got some zoomed in points of our 360 camera. We've got front and rear side cameras. If you're doing some off-roading, you're on a trail, you want to make sure you're not going to mess up the side of your truck, you can take a look at those. You've got a hitch camera, and you've also got a bed camera. And you've got some bed lights down here as well that you can turn on at night if you need to take a look at whatever is in your truck bed. You can do that here with this button. So that's pretty nice. Cool thing about this infotainment though is the fact that it has Google Maps built in. It is a subscription-based system, so you do have to pay for this monthly. I'm not entirely sure how much it is, but if you are willing to pay the fee, you can have Google Maps built in. But I don't really know if I see the purpose of wanting to pay for it, because you can just plug your phone in to Apple CarPlay and go like this and click Google Maps, and then you have free Google Maps here on your screen. So kind of would just be up to you if you're someone that prefers phone projection or doesn't. And with Apple CarPlay, we do have a split screen. So over here on the right-hand side, I've got my music up, just because I don't really enjoy having a double nav screen. But if you're someone that one zoomed in view and one zoomed out view, you are able to do that. You can also see trailer status if you're towing, or you can have a vlog. So we are actually going to drive today on the car's Google Maps system, so you guys can see what that looks like. Okay, I mean, otherwise, not really too much. We've got a leather wrapped steering wheel with paddle shifters. We've got a hand shifter down here, a floor shifter, whatever you want to call this. But we have an empty spot here for what could be a column shifter. I don't know why companies are trying to stray away from column shifters so much nowadays. I really like having a column shifter, whether that be like kind of a Tesla or Mercedes-Benz style one that you just kind of push with your finger, or actually having a big physical column shifter that you move. I'd be okay with either. This shifter doesn't bother me too much. It just kind of doesn't do anything. So, you know, it doesn't help, nor, I mean, it's just there. Heated and cooled seats, you can heat your back and your butt, or just your back. But I think it's time we get on the road and show you guys what this GMC Sierra 1500 AT4X has been like to live with this week in Colorado. Okay. Reverse, push up, you can see it defaults you to your cameras. Parking brake is a button over here on the left side, pretty consistent with other GM vehicles. Smooth throttle response, and since we do have that 10-speed automatic here in this truck, this shifts are butter smooth. That's one thing GM always gets right, is their 10-speed automatic. Just give some advice to Ford on that. So like I said, under the hood is a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. It makes 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, which does actually sound like a lot if you take into consideration that this is a very heavy truck. I want to say it's somewhere around the 6,000 pound range, so this is a big, heavy beast, and you know, I've been thinking to myself all week, I kind of wish this had like 600 horsepower. It's not really, it's not slow, but it's certainly not quick. We'll give you a little taste of that here. That is flat out, so certainly leaves some power to be desired. It's so strange to me that GM goes and makes all of these different off-road trims of their trucks, but they don't change the powertrains. Ford's got the Raptor and the Raptor R, Ram has the TRX, and even the Toyotas, the TRD Pro Toyotas with that 3.5 hybrid, even those can boogie a little bit, but really not too much here with this GMC. Let's stop very quickly and do an acceleration. There was 60. Like I said, it's adequate. I don't mind it, but I would certainly like to have some more. GM is just leaving this empty gap in the market for kind of a performance off-road truck. And there's nothing wrong with this. Not everyone wants their off-road truck to have 600 horsepower, but it would be nice to offer it to people that do. Anyways, though, let's get on to some of the positives about this truck, because I have actually really enjoyed living with this thing this week. And the biggest positive for me is honestly just the smoothness of everything. Like I said earlier, that 10-speed automatic is just flawless. I've had no rough shifts this week. It does a great job deciding by itself, though if you do want to control it, you can slap your shifter down into L mode, and you can manually change gears here with these paddles on the steering wheel. But I don't ever really find myself doing that because they aren't really inspiring. They don't inspire me to do any spirited driving or anything. They also don't really react very fast. So I've just been leaving this thing in D, letting it do its own thing. Also, it's very quiet. You'd think maybe with the 6.2 liter you'd have some raspy V8 exhaust notes, but not at all. It's a pretty quiet truck, which is good for the buyer that just wants their off-road truck, you know, for quietness, smoothness, comfort. But if you're someone that wants to make a little bit of noise on the trail, this is not the truck for you. It's more so the truck that you drive around in city centers through the Starbucks drive-thru, use that extra 2 inches of ground clearance.